But this is Randa Markos. So how do you feel today?
I feel great.
Yeah?
I'm excited. I'm having fun. It feels good.
Yeah, so what do you think about the fight, like with you and Claudia?
I think this is a great fight for me. I've been wanting this for a really long time, like wanting a big step up for a really long time. Coming off a win and getting this, it feels great. I'm really excited.
And how do you think the fight will go down between you two, with her being a wrestler?
Yeah, she's more of a grappler, I think, but she's very aggressive. I think we're very similar, but I think she's going to want to take the fight to the ground in any way she can. And I think I have better striking than her, but definitely going to end with my hand raised.
And given how the division has been going so far, what do you think a win over Claudia would do for your career?
It's only going to do good. So, you know, I don't know. This is a great step up for me. This is an opportunity for me to show everybody, you know, what I can do, and this is only good for me.
And after that fight that you did with Nina, I know that you kind of went a little bit into that you weren't necessarily in the right mindset when you fought that fight. Can you just elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, it's definitely like time after time, you know, like fight after fight, and being in like stuck in like a rut of like wins and losses. I kind of like would tell myself that I'm gonna, if I want to fight, I'm gonna lose the next one, no matter what I did, no matter how I prepared. In the back of my head was like, you're gonna lose, you know what I mean? Even though they were close decisions, it was kind of like I got stuck in this rut, and then my corner took me aside and said, you know, you need to talk to somebody because like I'm using all this energy and before I even get out there. So that was definitely a turning point, and I was able to, you know, look back and like try to actually have fun with this sport, and I kind of lost that.
Do you feel that kind of happens a lot to fighters? Like, do you feel like the answer is to talk to someone else? Like, do you feel like a lot of them do tend to get in their head a lot, like before fights and training?
Yeah. I mean, like we all work hard. We all train hard. You know, what makes us different from each other is our mental game. And that was it's a huge thing. And we all think, like, especially me, like, I thought I was like one of the mentally like strong people out here, and I'm not. I realized, like, man, I'm so hard on myself. I'm using so much energy before I even walk out to that cage. Like, it's crazy. Like, I like prepare myself for failure, and I don't even realize it. So there's a lot of things that we don't understand that we're doing, and I feel like it gets worse over time.
Did you start feeling that when you were in the Tough House, or is this something that you kind of just figured out about yourself, like more recently after that fight?
There were like little things, I think, in the Tough House, especially my final fight, you know. And then after that, it was just like I always felt like I didn't belong. I felt like this, like I'm like out of place here. You know what I mean? I know. Yeah, really. Like so that definitely like over time gets to you, and then like yeah, and then. You know, my sports psychologist is like, you're a professional fighter. You're a professional. I'm like, man, I am a professional.
Like, pinch yourself a little bit.
It took that for me to like understand myself and like where I am and how far I've come.
Kind of just seems like take a second, smell the flowers, and just kind of see how far you've come. Because I'll say right now, in that Tough House, like, you were one of my favorite fighters. Like, you honestly just fought with a lot of heart, so I felt like you were really a fan favorite. And then going into the UFC, like, you do see the strides and like the difficulties. Like, it's not always just positive. So I just, you know, I commend you for being like who you are. But I do have to ask, that fiery red hair, what is the inspiration for that? Because I don't want you to lose it.
My sister was kind of like, you know, my mom wanted me to go with like blonde or whatever. I'm like, no, I can't do that. And my sister was like, go red.
Yeah.
Do it. I don't know. She just inspired me to do it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it looks good. But I do have to ask, as far as like, you know, your career's blooming, things like that, what is the biggest challenge fight? Because I know I asked about Nina, but what was the hardest fight for you coming into the UFC so far, and what have you learned from it?
I definitely think the Nina fight was the most difficult, because I was like so prepared for that, and I thought I had everything, but it really made me realize like that like there's a big gap in my game, and like I've been looking everywhere for this gap, to fix this gap, and like, you know, and it's not really like the outside, it was the inside, you know. My mental state, it was like so messed up going into that fight, and like, yeah, I needed to work on kicks and defending kicks, yeah, definitely that, and like I just I don't know, it's just like as the fight went on, I was like, fuck, like what's wrong with me? Like, just go for it, you know. And I don't know, it's just like, I don't know, it was just a big change for me.
So with that in your training camp, like, has anything changed differently as far as like what you're practicing for with this fight?
Yeah, for this fight and the last fight, I actually started Muay Thai.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, so I've been doing that, and I've never done Muay Thai before, so that's definitely helping me with the kicks and defending kicks and all that stuff. which I never have done. I never really escaped in fights. So that's a big change for me. And then just my jiu-jitsu is more MMA focused and not like tournament style jiu-jitsu kind of stuff. So that's a big change as well.
Nice, that's awesome. And then one more question, or I would say two more questions. But what do you think about the division so far? As far as the champion, Rose Namajunas ended up, not being the champion anymore. Jessica Andrade is on top. What do you think about that? Like the top 5 right now, and where you see yourself after you win this fight?
I feel like there's a lot of threats in our division. There's a lot. Like there's always somebody new coming up, and I feel like that belt is up for grabs, and it's all about who's on that day and what styles fit what fighters, So definitely it's a crazy division right now, and I definitely think maybe after this fight, hopefully it's a title fight.
Yeah. And do you watch any TV shows? Are you feeling any TV shows right now that are on TV?
Right now, that show Animal Kingdom was pretty good.
Yeah?
I really like that.
Yeah, that's actually the first time I've heard that, but now when you say it, I'm like, that is a really good show.
It is. It's really good.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see your fight.
Thank you.